We need to convene the leaders of this continent to talk about this visa story. This is a disaster. And let me just say the following. I struggle to understand why I can land in Paris, get on a train, and end up in Brussels. But if I want to move from Joburg to Gaborone, I must produce a passport. Who's the genius that came up with the scheme? You know, the Europeans are so quick to tell us that we can't bundle ourselves into a single block, but they've done it. It's going to be easier for me to do 5 different countries in Europe than it will be to do 2 different countries in Africa. Less layovers, less time. I'm sorry, can we just pause? Just one moment, pause the time. Who designed this nonsense? Who wrote the script? I have a theory. And here is my theory. You only lock the vault where there is money.
Hello. So this is, as usual, our brother, very eloquent, very intelligent, always on point. He articulates his point to the understanding of the ordinary man. And then we appreciate everything that this brother is doing for Mother Africa. We pray that God will give him long life and then healthy life, and for him to live long to see Africa Day of Glory. My brother, we thank you very much for dedicating some of your life to the glory of Africa, to the freedom of Africa. We thank God for your life. Yes, so first of all, let me welcome you to our platform, One Africa Mission. We are missionaries. We are on a mission, and our mission is all about the unification of Africa. Our mission is to fight for the unity of Africa, because we believe that without unity, the continent of Africa or the children of Africa will continue 200, 300 years from now to be talking like the way our brother is talking. The only way we can bring an end to this is for us to fight for the unification of Africa. Because 60 years ago, 70 years ago, the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Julius Nyerere, they used to talk about this. But still, we have not been able to find a solution to this. Why? Because we don't have the power to do that. Our power will come from our unity. That is why we keep crying out as One African Mission, here in One African Mission, for the unification of Africa. So please, if you appreciate what we are doing, if you love to see Africa out of her predicaments, please join our mission. Please support our mission. Let us all come together, bring our brains, our minds, our energy, and fight for this unification of Africa. Support our mission, as I said. How do you support our mission? Because we intend to travel around the 54 countries in Africa to speak to our youth, to let them know that it is only a united Africa that can bring an end to our predicaments. So how do you support us? The only way you can support us is by sharing what we are doing, because we've been told that by sharing it, by liking it, by passing your comments, YouTube will open it up for other people to see. So please, if you love Africa, if you want the best for Africa, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, One Africa Mission, and also follow us on Facebook, One Africa Mission. We are missionaries, as I said, and our mission is about the unification of the African continent. Our mission is to see a borderless Africa, because we believe that without unity, Africa is going nowhere. As we keep saying in our videos, the founding fathers of America, they realized the strength in unity. That was the reason why they had to fight a brutal civil war to bring 50 states together. And today, America is the most powerful country in the world. Imagine 54 countries in Africa. If we are able to iron our so-called differences and bring all these 54 countries together, one military, one passport, one government, one currency, is there any country that can stand us or that can bully us? No. But because we are divided, and there is a reason why we are divided. There is a reason that European leaders went to Berlin and divide Africa among themselves. The reason why they did that was to keep Africa at where we are today, at the bottom of the human race. But it is up to us, the children of Africa today, to bring an end to that. As I keep saying, we cannot blame our ancestors for the Africa that we have inherited from them, but we will blame ourselves if we leave the same Africa for the next generation of Africa. Are you happy about the Africa that you inherited from your ancestors, from your fathers? No. Will you want to leave the same Africa for the next generation, your children? No. So if we really want to bring an end, or if we want to bring a better Africa, then we must all join hands together and fight for a united Africa. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, share our content if you appreciate what we are doing, so that together we can bring a better Africa for the next generation of Africans. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, so as our brother was saying, we're not going to talk too much because he has articulate and say everything there. But all that I'm trying to say here today about this video is that we don't need to convene a meeting, because our brother said we should convene a meeting of our leaders. We don't need to convene a meeting of any African leaders. We, the children of Africa, we, the citizens of Africa, we have to talk to ourselves, and then we have to tell each other that we deserve better than what we have been offered today. Because the reason why he talk about, like, when he go to Europe, it's easier for him to travel within 5 countries in Europe than to travel within 2 countries in Africa. The reason why it is easy for you to travel around Europe is because the European citizens know what they deserve, and nobody will not deny them their right to travel within Europe. The other day, when Britain was coming out of the European Union, what the British government wouldn't dare deny the British citizens was to deny them access to traveling or access to free movement. Their citizens, they wouldn't have taken that. So the British government makes sure that in all their negotiations, they make sure that free movement of British citizens was on top of the agenda, because they know the British citizens wouldn't take any nonsense from their leaders. But we, as children of Africa, we have allowed ourselves to be denied what is rightful ours, and that is moving free within Africa. And you know what? Our brother also said that you only lock the vault where there is money. It is true. The reason why Europeans decided to divide Africa among themselves and lock us inside within our small countries is because they know by moving around we communicate, and then by communicating we share ideas, and by sharing ideas we see the importance or the benefit or the beauty of our continent. A young man in Sierra Leone wouldn't have the opportunity to go to Madagascar. A young man in Madagascar wouldn't have the opportunity to go to Egypt. A young man in Egypt wouldn't have the opportunity to go to Ghana. A young man in Ghana doesn't have the opportunity to go to Malawi. A young man in Malawi doesn't have the opportunity to go to, like, everywhere. We don't have that opportunity. Ask a young man in Africa, or even an older person in Africa, how many countries he has traveled to before, or if he has ever even traveled out of his country. He is doing his business, his well-to-do, but ask him if he has ever traveled outside his country. He will tell you no. Why? Because somebody sit in Berlin or in Europe and decide that African citizens should not travel around Africa. But ask a European citizen in Italy, in Germany, in Britain, a young man maybe in his early 20s, or in his early 20s. Ask him if he has ever traveled outside of his country. He will tell you, I have been to at least minimum 15 countries or 10 countries. So how do we allow them to decide the destiny, our destiny for us? So we shouldn't continue to blame them, the Europeans, because they know what is good for them. So if we also know what is good for us as African people, then we must demand what is best for us. We must let our leaders know that we wouldn't, just as the European citizens will not tolerate anything that would deny them the access to free movement in Europe. Just as they will not take it, we, the citizens of Africa, we should not also take it. So it shouldn't just be about feel-good talks. When our brother is talking, he's talking with energy, he's talking with passion, he wants to see change. But we, the people that he's speaking to, we just clap our hands and then we go home, we feel good and we go home, and that is it. We must take action. We must demand what is rightful ours, and that is free movement of our continent. We deserve better. I just recently, on the 20th of November, returned back from Ethiopia. I was denied access to Kenya as an African at the Kenya-Moyale Ethiopia border, Moyale. I was denied access to go to Kenya, me and my crew. And it is Africa is our inheritance. Africa is our continent. Africa is our gift, what God has given to us. So why are we denying ourselves the opportunity to travel within our continent? It is about time we the citizens of Africa stand up, not just our leaders, because our leaders are trying these days. They are saying, oh, we want to open from Ghana government is saying all Africans can come in. Ethiopia is trying to say the same thing. Kenya is saying the same thing. What's the name? Rwanda, the same thing. Uganda, the same thing. But South Africa, the same thing. But our civil servants, the immigration officers, they wouldn't allow you the access. So can we blame our leaders for that? No. We, the children of Africa, have to stand up and demand what is rightful ours, and let our civil servants know that Africa belongs to us. As I said, just as the European citizens will not take any nonsense from their leadership, whoever they may be, to deny them access to free movement of Europe, we, the children of Africa, must also do the same thing. The reason why we are not seeing the benefit, we are not loving Africa, we are not seeing the beauty of Africa, is because we don't have access to travel around Africa to see how beautiful Africa is. The Europeans have that. That is why they love Europe. Every European child has ever in his lifetime, or every European citizen has ever in his lifetime traveled around Europe. So he appreciates what Europe is giving to him. The same thing in America. But it is only we, the Africans, who are being denied this opportunity to travel and appreciate our continent. And yet, in this 21st century, we are still blaming the colonizers. Yes, the colonizers went to Berlin and divide Africa among themselves. We know that. They went to Berlin, and the reason why they went there was to deny Africa, the Africans, the opportunity to appreciate our continent. We know that. But today, we cannot continue to blame them when we ourselves are denying ourselves the opportunity to explore our continent. So it is about time. It is time now. The children of Africa, stand up and demand what is rightfully yours. Let us stand up. Let us unite. Let us come together and tell our leaders that we want a free movement of our continent. We want a borderless Africa, so that we can also travel around Africa and appreciate what Africa has for us. I thank you very much for coming around. This is your brother Dobia Anzansi. Please, as I said, if you appreciate what we are doing, subscribe to our YouTube channel, join our mission, One Africa Mission. Let us all together fight for a better Africa, a united Africa, so that we can explore and enjoy what God has given to us as African people. Africa has enough for us as children of Africa. We don't need to go elsewhere to explore. We just have to be in Africa. If we can gather ourselves, if we can unite, Africa has enough for all of us as African people. I thank you very much for coming around. Until we meet again, please help us subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, One Africa Mission. Together we can make Africa better and strong.